From Anshe Sfard Beth El Emeth Congregation, it's time to take 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to the Anshe Sfard Beth El Emeth Congregation for our discussion of Parashat Balak, the story of Bilam and his talking donkey. First question is, who was this Bilam? Was he a prophet for the nations? One idea is that indeed the nations of the world were given this one chance to have this actual prophet. On the other hand, in the book of Yoshua, Perek Yud Gimel, chapter 13, verse 22, it says there that it refers to Bilam as Hakosim, Bilam, the magician. In fact, the people of Balak who tried to hire Bilam to curse the Jews brought kesamim biyadam. They brought magical works and magical tools with them. So it seems that perhaps he was a magician. The Gemara in Sanhedrin solves this problem. Was he a prophet? Was he not a prophet? By saying that first he was an Navi. He was set out, he was destined to be a Navi, a prophet, a true prophet. But in the end, since he tried to curse the Jews, which is forbidden, he landed out having to resort to sorcery, to magic. The Radak, Rabbi David Kimchi, actually has the audacity to say that Lo Navi ela Koseim. No, he was not a prophet at all. He was simply a Koseim, a magician. The next question is it really true that his donkey began to speak? He was not supposed to go and to curse the Jews, but then he decided to ask God a second time, can I go curse the Jews? He says, well, you can go, but I'll tell you what to say. And then he goes, and God is mad. He sends an angel. The angel stands in the way. The donkey sees the angel. Bilam cannot see the angel until his eyes are opened up. He has a brief conversation with the donkey. What's going on? The donkey is speaking? Many rationalist rabbis throughout the ages were bothered by this and tried to sort of modify the story. The classic interpretation is mentioned in Pirkei Avot that this was imbued within nature from the very beginning, that there could be such a thing as a talking donkey once in history. This was something as part of creation that was endowed within creation. The Rambam endorsing that interpretation of the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. Rabbi Sadia Gaon, one of the early rationalists from 1,000 years ago, he says no, that I'm sorry, this is not possible. The donkey did not actually speak. Shadal, the Shmuel David Luzzatto, the great Italian interpreter of the Torah, so he says, no, it was just the donkey indicated that it was upset. The donkey never actually said anything. It just sort of brayed. And from the braying, Bilam had this conversation with him. This reminds us of the Ibn Ezra, who said that the snake in the Garden of Eden didn't actually speak. The snake simply brayed and purred. And from that, the woman understood what he was saying. The Ibn Kaspi, who often has sort of radical interpretations, he also says that no, it wasn't actually a waking vision of a talking donkey. He was sleeping. It just all took place in a dream. After all, he's on his donkey, and he woke up so early in the morning, he must have been sort of dozing off. As he was dozing, he had this vision of the talking donkey. Of course, the classic view is that he actually did speak, and even if you say it was a dream or something to that effect, still, why would there be such a bizarre story in the Torah of a talking donkey? What's going on? Why was it necessary to have this interruption in the story? Even Moses' donkey doesn't seem to speak to him. What's going on? The Ramban says as follows. Ramban Nachmanides says, Lahodio ki Hashem poteach pi hanelamim. He was showing him who has the power over speech. I told you, Bilam, you can go with those men, but whatever I tell you, that's what you will say. God is the one who makes those who cannot speak. Misampel Adam, as God said to Moshe, who has given speech to a person? God gives it. If God wants to give it to a donkey, he can give it to a donkey. And number two, it will be according to my will. The story shows that things will take place only according to God's will. According to Rashi in the Midrash, there's a sort of a mocking element here as well. Rashi says that the donkey saw the angel, but Bilam calls himself the Gluye Naim. He calls himself Yodei Adat Elyon. He says he knows what God thinks. He knows the mind of God. And the donkey knows, but Bilam doesn't know. It's a mockery of this person. The Midrash says that the most foolish, the most stupid of all animals understood what was going on, and he could not. So, because it's just a mockery of this man. The Vayigal Hashem Einei Bilam, his eyes were opened up to show him that not only is his mouth not in his charge, but even his eyes, what he sees, is not in his charge. God is in charge of what you see, what you can't see. The Sforno has another take on this. He said, when the Bilam saw that his donkey began to talk, he should have woken up and said, my donkey is talking. What's going on here? What am I doing? An angel is telling me is standing in front of me with a sword. Let me turn around. It's not too late. I can still stop this nonsense of trying to curse the Jews. But no, he doesn't listen. He doesn't see the message of the talking donkey. He just says, oh, talking donkey, oh. He just talks back to him as if he's not surprised at all. Maybe as a magician, it wouldn't be surprised to see a talking donkey, but we have to imagine that Bilam failed to appreciate that nature had changed its whole self, that there was something built into nature, that just one moment that it would give Bilam a chance to turn around. And he didn't take that opportunity. There was a talking donkey. He didn't even strike him as bizarre or odd. He just responded to the donkey and kept on his merry way, going straight into the pit, to eventually his demise. He would be killed by the Jews, indeed, in battle, because he couldn't see this. So we have various theories as to what the significance of the talking donkey is. Is it a sense of mockery, mocking this man who thinks he knows it all, who thinks he has this power of the magician, that he can change everything, that the nature and the destiny is in his hands, not in God's? It's a mockery of that sort of position. It humbles the human being. Or is it the idea of the Sforno? That the idea is that sometimes things happen in life, and things that are supposed to be a wake-up call to the individual to do something, change your ways, get out of the way, veer the other way, turn around. It's not too late to turn around. And yet Bilam couldn't do it. Even with a sword of an angel staring right at him, he couldn't do it. The angel tricked him by saying, oh, sure, go ahead, go. But Bilam needed to understand that the hidden message of the talking donkey and the sword standing in front of him and the angel who wouldn't let him go. The message was, Bilam, it's not too late. Turn around. Turn things around. This notion that we can do it all, the destiny is in our hands, can often be held by the modern individual who seems so impervious to the forces of nature. This notion that sometimes it's not too late to turn around, that we have a wake-up call and we don't listen. All these lessons are very important for us today, as much today as they were thousands of years ago. Thank you for joining us here at Anshe Sfar Beth El congregation here in Memphis, Tennessee, for this discussion of Bilam and his talking donkey. And please join us each week as we continue our discussions, and you can look in our archives, previous discussions as well. I want to thank Jason Lefkowitz for making today's presentation possible. Thank you very much.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.